Good morning, class. So last meeting, prelim, okay, we discuss yung open method, di ba? Yung Newton-Raphson, okay? Meron tayong second, okay? Meron din tayong fixed point iteration. Okay. So di-discuss ko yung how to implement Newton-Raphson using yung programming na Matlab, okay? So balikan muna natin yung Newton-Raphson. Okay? Newton-Raphson. Ay, sorry. Okay. Yan. For the Newton-Raphson, di ba? We need to find the derivative of the function, okay? And the x sub n minus, then yung formula ng iteration. Okay? Yung formula of iteration is x sub n plus 1 equals to x sub n minus f of x sub n over f prime of x sub n. So kung mapapansin natin, saan ba yung table na ginawa ko? Okay, this one. So kung mapapansin natin, we have the iteration number, kung pang ilang iteration, okay? We have yung first initial points natin, the value of our f of x, and the value of our f prime of x. Okay? So sinasubstitute natin yung value na nakuha nating x dito sa derivative. Okay? So we will implement yung gantong formula, gantong approach, okay? So I've created sample formula or sample algorithm for the implementation of the Newton-Raphson. Okay? As we all know, meron tayong tawag dito, inputs parameter. We have the function, okay? We have the initial points, we have the dx, okay, tolerance, and the iteration step. Okay, so discuss ko muna whiteboard. Okay. Wait lang ha. Dito tayo sa yan. Okay, this one. Yan. So, balik tayo dito. So for this one, di ba, we all know that the derivative of f prime of x is equals to change in x, change in y over change in x. Okay? So pwede natin gawin is we all know that f of x plus h minus f of x all over change in x or yung h natin. Whereas yung change in x natin, let's say, is yung h. Okay? So pwede na, di ba, we all know that is limit of x approaching to 0, okay, of f of h approaching to 0, okay, of x plus h over minus f of x over h. Ayan. Di ba, we have this one. Ito yung typical na what is the derivative of the first derivative, di ba? F of x plus h minus f of x all over h as h approaching to 0. So, mas malapit sa 0 yung value natin, mas makukuha natin yung almost exact root of the f prime of x. Okay? So, pwede natin gawin, let's say yung h natin gawin natin dx or the change in x. Okay? So, pwede natin gawin na f x plus dx minus f of x all over dx. So, ito yung ating limit of dx papunta sa 0. Okay? So, ito yung definition of the first derivative. Diba? Ito yung definition ng first derivative. So we can apply this definition using the Matlab to find the first derivative of the function at a point. Okay? So gawin natin this one. Okay? So for example, we have the function this one. Okay? So we have the function e raised to x minus 2. Okay? E raised to x minus 2. Then, yung change in x natin, let's say the change in x will be 1 times 10 raised to negative 10. So, almost 0. So, 0.00000 hanggang 1. Okay? Or 1 e raised to negative 10. Pwede rin yun. Or 1 e negative 10. Okay? So, balik tayo dito sa definition, di ba? The values, okay, copy ko to. Wait, kita ko lang. So, f of 2, pwede natin f of 2 say, we have, nakukuha natin yung values of e raised to 2 minus 2. Okay, this one is the function, e raised to 2 minus 2. Okay, so using the definition of the first derivative, okay, definition of the first derivative, f of x plus change in x minus f of x all over change in x. So, makukuha natin yung derivative at a point. Okay? So, pwede natin gawin yun. Implement natin yun dito. Okay? So, pwede natin gawin is the first derivative is equals to, ito, yung ginawa ko na to. Ayan. Okay? F of x change in x minus f of x all over change in x. Okay? So, ito yung implementation natin. Okay? This one. Oh, sorry. This one. Pasok natin dito sa command window. We don't have the value of x. Okay. So, kunwari, hahanapin natin yung derivative of e raised to x minus 2 at x equals to 2. Okay? At x equals to 2. So, by manual calculations, di ba? Using manual calculations. Where is the blackboard? I don't have the blackboard. Okay. So, using manual calculations, di ba? Kunwari, a function natin is y is equals to e raised to x minus 2. Okay. First derivative is y prime is equals to e raised to x pa rin, di ba? So, what is f prime of 2? We have y prime is equals to e raised to 2 equals din siya sa okay, e raised to 2. So, 7.389. Okay? 7.389. So, dapat 9056,099. Okay? So, dapat ito yung value natin or the derivative of the equation at point x equals to 2. So, dapat ito yung value natin na lumabas. Okay? So, using Matlab, okay, pwede natin gawin is define tayo ng value of x which is x equals 2. Okay? By pressing enter, we have, oops, sorry, hindi ko na solve yung df. Okay, wait. So, f is equals to x. Okay, define natin yung function exp x minus 2. I don't want to display. Okay, then dx natin is equals to 1 times 10 raised to negative 10. Okay, hindi siya i-display. Yung x natin is 2. Ayoko rin siya i-display. And I want to display the first derivative of the equation at point x equals to 2. Okay, so df is equals to first derivative. Okay, balik tayo dun sa definitions. The first derivative is f of x plus dx minus f of x all over dx. Okay, so df is equals to f of x plus dx. Okay, minus f of x, okay, all over dx. Okay, so we have 7.3891. So which is almost the same for the first derivative at a point. Okay, this one. So this one is manual calculations na gamit tayo ng manual or definition ng first derivative in the implementation of our program. Okay? So gumamit tayo ng definition mismo ng ng first derivative. Okay? So for Matlab, ito yung derivative of a point. Okay? So using this one, implement natin sa Newton-Raphson natin. Okay? So for the Newton-Raphson, nag-implement ako ng for I. So kasi balik tayo dito sa ating implementation. Asan ba yan? Okay, this one. Ito yung iteration step natin. K equals 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, ito yung iteration. Okay, then sinusolve natin yung x, f of x, f prime of x. Then kapag hindi pa siya pasok sa tolerance, we will use the value of x by using this formula. Okay, then solve again, solve again. So pwedeng ganito yung gawin natin. Okay, so first, define natin yung function natin. Define natin yung initial points. Okay, this is, define natin to. This is the function. Okay, this one is the initial, tawag dito, initial point. Okay, this one is yung change in x to get the first derivative or the dx first derivative at a point. Okay, and the tolerance. Okay, tolerance or acceptance criteria. Okay. Okay. So this one for I equals to 1 to 100. So we assume, okay, that the max iteration is at 100. So naglo-looping tayo ng for I equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, hanggang 100. Then we will get the absolute value of f of x. Okay? So nag-define lang ako ng absolute value of f of x. Okay? So dinefine ko lang siya na abs underscore f of x. fx. Okay? So ito siya yung abs f of x. Para mas madali kong i-type. Okay? So the criteria is if the absolute value of my f of x is greater than tolerance, I will do the iteration step. Kapag hindi, I will end the loop and I will print that equate that value of x as the root. Okay? So ulit. And my if else condition is that if the absolute value of my f of x, if the absolute value of the f of x is greater than tolerance, I will solve for the first derivative and I will solve for the iteration step. Okay, yung iteration natin is x, k plus 1 is equals to x sub k minus f of x sub k all over the derivative of the first derivative at x sub k, this one. Okay, and else I will print the root, the value of x kapag na-attain na to, dito na-attain, I will end the loop and I will exit the for loop. I will end the if else condition and I will end the for loop and ma-store na yung value of x and I will print the root of the equation x. Okay? So, ganyan yung implementation, simple implementation for the Newton-Raphson. Okay? So, let's try. Control Shift Enter. Okay. So, the root of the equation of e raised to x minus 2 is 0.693147. Okay? Using Desmos, okay? Using Desmos, let's try checking natin e raised to x minus 2. We have 0.693. Okay, so we get the root of 0.693147. 4, 7. So if we want to find how many iterations we have, so pwede nating gawin, print natin itong value of I. Okay? So I. So shift enter. Okay? Pumatong lang sa hanggang 4th iteration. So the last value of I is the 4. Okay? So hanggang 4th iteration ang final natin sa in getting the root of e raised to x minus 2. Okay, mabot lang siya ng 4 iteration. So in getting the tolerance, 1 times 10 raised to negative 10. Okay? Kung gusto nyo, pwede nyo ditong ilagay I. Okay? Display nyo dito yung I. And mabot siya ng hanggang 100 kasi tinapos niya. Okay? Okay. So hanggang 4 iterations. Okay. May questions pa kayo guys? Okay, wala. Sige. Tuloy natin. Punta tayo naman sa ating modules. Okay. For the modules, Matlab, matrix manipulations. Okay. So for the module 5, we will discuss Matlab matrix manipulations or paano ba nag-i-implement ng matrix sa Matlab. Okay. Okay. So close ko lang yung ating Matlab implementation. This one. Okay. So for Matlab matrix manipulations, for example, the following example illustrates how a variety of matrix manipulations are implemented in Matlab. Okay. It is the best approach as a hands-on experience on the computer. Okay. So for example, we want to create a random 3x3 matrix. So in creating a random 3x3 matrix in Matlab, so ang command lang natin dyan is a rand of 3x3. Okay, so parang random of okay, sorry. So dapat dito is rand of I and j. Okay, so kung ano yung number of rows and number of columns mo. So let's try. Okay, so in creating random numbers in Matlab, okay, so let's say store natin siya as matrix A. So A random number 3x3. Okay, so ito yung random number natin. So 0.0815. As you can see, this is different. Okay, this is different sa ating binigay na example. Okay, so random talaga siya. Okay, next one is how to define a matrix in Matlab. So na-discuss natin to first meeting. So ulitin ko lang, how are we going to define a matrix in Matlab? Okay, so pwedeng ganito. I-define mo yung first row, per row ang bilang, ang pag-define. So first row, ito yung second row and third row. Okay, so let's say for example A is equals to open bracket, okay, 1, 5, 6, then semicolon, 7, 4, 2, then close, negative 3, 6, 7. Okay. So, nag-define tayo ng value of the matrix A, 1, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, and negative 3, 6, 7. So, this is one example of how are we going to define a matrix. Okay. Next, how are we going to transpose a matrix? So, diba, remember, the transposition of matrix is simply you will interchange Aij into Aji. So, for example, A23, gagawin mo siyang A32. Lalagay mo siya sa A32 and so on and so forth. Okay? So, kunwari, itatranspose natin yung value of A natin. So, A prime. So, lalagyan mo lang siya ng operator na ito. Okay, this one. Okay. So enter, we have the transpose of the matrix A, 1, 7, -3, 5, 4, 6, and 6, 2, 7. Okay? Okay. Next is we will create a 3 by 3 matrix on a row in a row basis. For example, we will create another 3 by 3 matrix. So ang style naman nito class is another style ng pag-define ng matrix. So for example, gagawa ulit tayo ng matrix B. Okay? Ang matrix B natin is also a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay? So pwede natin gawin is per row pa rin yung ano. So naka-row vector pa rin yung pagde-define natin. So the first row, let's say x is equals to 8, 6, 9. 6, 9. Okay? I want to display, so semicolon, then y is equals to -5, 8, 1. Okay, -5, 8, 1. And this value of z is equals to 4, 8, 2. Okay. So to combine these 3 row vectors is ganito lang. So b, if I'll set natin siya sa value of b, x, open bracket, x, y, z. So x, y, and z. Then close bracket. Okay. So yan, na-define natin yung matrix B using row vector. Okay. So kinumbine lang natin yung mga row vector na dinefine natin. So now we have the value of A, matrix A na this one, and the value of matrix B na this one. Okay. So now, matrix operator. Okay, so matrix operation. So let's say we are going to add the value of matrix A to the value of matrix B. So simply add addition lang. So let's say we set the value of matrix C as the sum of matrix A and matrix B. So C is equals to A plus B, we get 9, 11, 15, 2, 12, 3, and 1, 14, 9. Okay. So, element by element ang pag-a-add po. Okay, tingnan nyo. 1, 8. So, we get 9, 7, -5. We get 2, -3, positive 4. So, we have 1. So, element by element ang pag-multiply ng matrix. Okay. Next one. Further, we can subtract the value of B. So we can subtract the value of B from C to arrive back to A. So pwede rin yun, di ba? A is equals to C minus B. Okay? So same pa rin. Pumasok dun sa value of A na dating value of A natin. Okay? Reverting back. Also, there are matrix multiplication. Okay? So for the matrix multiplication, di ba? Dapat yung inner dimensions natin is the same para makapag-multiply. So ang ibig sabihin nun, okay? So let's say the value of the matrix A is a 3 by 3 matrix and the matrix B is a 3 by 3 matrix. Since the inner dimension is the same, inner dimension is the same, or m by n multiplied by n by p, since the inner dimensions are the same, we can multiply the matrix. And the resulting matrix is given by m by p. So 3 by 3 din yung resulting matrix natin. So 3 by 3 din yung resulting matrix natin. So for example, we want to determine the value of the product of A and B. Okay? So A asterisk of B, we have 7, 94, 26, 44, 90, 71, -26, 86, and 7. Okay? Okay. Next is matrix operation, element by element multiplication. So, di ba, ang matrix operation is for multiplying matrices is, di ba, AIK, BKJ. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung row dito, yung row ni A, multiplied by dito to get A11, ito multiplied by dito to get A12, ito multiplied by the row 1, ito multiplied by dito sa 8, negative 5, 4. Okay, we get the A21, A21. Okay, next one dito multiplied by 4, by ito multiplied by ito dito, we get A31. So, hindi siya element by element. So, parang multiplying matrices talaga. Pero kung gusto natin multiply ng matrix operation using element by element, okay, ibig sabihin, element by element. So, A11 multiplied by B11. Okay, so 1 times 8 is 8, negative 7 times ito. Okay. So, element by element. So, pag element by element, discuss ko na rin to, di ba? So, kailangan natin gumamit ng operator na period. So, A period, then multiplied by B. So, pag gusto natin gumamit ng element by element, we always use period. Okay? As you can see, ayan, the value of A and display ko na value of B. Okay? And display ko lang ulit to. Tingnan nyo, 1 times 8. So 8, 5 times 6, 30. 6 times negative, 6 times 9, 54. Okay, so element by element yung nangyaring multiplication. Okay. Next one is we have the errors. Okay. So kunwari, yung dinefine mong value is the dimensions of your matrix is doesn't have the same inner dimension. So magkakaroon ka ng error na ganito. So lalabas na ganito error. So let's say D is equals to 1, 4, 3, okay? So 5, 8, 1. So yung matrix D natin is a 2 by 3 matrix. Okay? So yung matrix D natin, is a 2 by 3 matrix. Okay? Whereas yung matrix A natin, the matrix D natin is 2 by 3 matrix. Whereas yung matrix A natin is a 3 by 3 matrix. So multiplying 3 by 3 to 2 by 3, since yung inner dimensions is not the same, so hindi siya mag-multiply. Okay? So you will get the error ganito. AB. So maglalabas ng error na incorrect dimensions for matrix multiplication. So check the number of columns in the first matrix. Okay. So maglalabas siya ng inner matrix dimensions must agree. So may error. So hindi niya mamumultiply. Okay? So using this one, pwede natin gawin D times A, di ba? So 2 by 3 multiplied by 3 by 3, pwede niyang i-multiply. So D times A. Okay? So 145, 581, the value of A natin. Oops, nagbago yung value of A natin. Okay, wait. 156, 742, negative 367. Okay. Okay, anyway. Ayan. So next one is the matrix inverse. Okay? So kung gusto natin kunin yung inverse of the matrix, okay? Wait lang class. I-ano ko lang. Stop. Okay. For matrix inversion, let's continue. Sige. For the matrix inversion, we have the syntax INV and matrix A. Okay? So ito po. Syntax for the matrix inverse is INV, then the function or the matrix. Okay? So for save ko lang siya for AI, okay, as the matrix inverse of matrix A. Okay? We have this one. So 0.246 for the column 1. Okay? AI format short ko lang. Okay, format short, we have AI. Okay, so 0.2462, okay, 0.0154, 0.1254, okay, the same. Okay, so for the matrix inversion or matrix inverse is INV and the function or the matrix. Okay. So to test if the matrix is the same, di ba? So using identity matrix, if the matrix in or using the identity kanina na binanggit ko, okay, for the identity of the matrix, if matrix A multiplied by the A inverse, okay, dapat yan ay identity matrix I. Okay. So let's find out. Okay, so matrix A multiplied by the inverse of matrix A, dapat identity matrix. O identity matrix yan. So 1, 1, 1, then 0 lahat. Okay, so to test if the result is correct, the inverse can be multiplied by the original matrix to give the identity matrix. Okay, screen. Okay, next one, determinant. Okay, so in getting the determinant is simply using the syntax det. Okay, det and the matrix. Okay, so for example, save natin siya in the word determinant. Determinant, okay, is equals to that, then the matrix A. So for the determinant of matrix A, we have 65. Okay, so very easy. Okay, next is the identity matrix. So kanina, di ba, identity matrix is yung puro 1 to, then the upper and lower are all 0. Okay, so para siyang in initial notation is Aij is equals to 0 if Aij, if Ai is not equals to j. Sorry, if I is not equals to j. And Aij is equals to 1 if I is equals to j. Yeah. This one is for the identity matrix. Okay, so for identity matrix, gusto mong ipakita na yung I and 3, so identity matrix order 3. Okay, so I is equals to identity, then 3. Okay, we have the identity matrix at order 3 or a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, next one. How are we going to set up matrix using a permutation? Okay, so katulad din to kanina, di ba? Na nag-define tayo ng value of A using a row by row. Okay, di ba? First row, second row, third row. So this one is, ang tawag talaga sa kanya is set up matrix using a permutation. Okay, so let's say P equals to 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and 1, 0, 0. Okay, so for the matrix P, we have this one. Okay, so next is we want to switch matrix using the reverse identity matrix. Okay, so using this identity na P, okay, so para siyang reverse ng identity matrix. 'Di ba yung identity matrix is pa ganito, yung diagonal na 1. For P naman is pa kabila, yung diagonal. Okay? So we can switch the rows. Pwede nating magpa-switch ng rows using this identity, yung identity P natin na to. So for example, we want to have, okay, yung A natin, 'di ba kanina is this one. Okay, 1, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, negative 3, 6, 7. Ngayon, gusto nating baguhin yung paltan, yung ito, papunta dito sa yung row 1 magiging row 3 and yung row 3 magiging row 1. So pwede 'yon. So using identity P. Okay? Using identity P, so let's say PA is P multiplied by the matrix na gusto nating baguhin, yung rows. Okay? So magbabago, magi-interchange yung row sa first row and yung last row. Okay. Ayan. So negative 3, 6, 7, 7, 4, 2, and 1, 5, 6. So nagbago yung ating row 1 and row 3. Okay. So recall, the value of P is pa ganito, okay? And the value of A is this one. Okay? Next is, pwede rin natin baguhin yung column. Okay? So for example, ito, 1, 7, negative 3, 6, 2, 7, i-interchange natin. Itong row, column 1, pagagawin natin column 3, and yung column 3, gagawin natin column 1. Okay? Using the identity P, okay? So pwede rin ganito. AP is equals to A multiplied by P. So kapag nauna yung matrix mo, column yung mag-interchange, and kapag nauna yung identity P mo, yung row yung mag-interchange. Okay? So 6, 5, 1, 2, 4, 7, 7, 6, negative 7. Okay? So compare natin dun sa first value of matrix A. 1, 7, negative 3, nag-interchange, and 6, 2, 7, nag-interchange. Okay? Next one is the augmenting the matrix. Okay, so for augmenting the matrix is we can augment or pwede nating pagsamahin yung dalawang matrix using the command AUG. AUG and sinave lang natin siya ng AUG and pinagsama lang yung A and I. Okay. So for example, this one. So, sinave natin sa AUG, augmented matrix. Okay? So, i-combine ko yung matrix A and yung identity matrix. Okay? So, matrix A and the identity matrix I. Okay. So, kung titingnan nyo, yung matrix A natin na 1, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, negative 3, 6, 7, nag-augment siya with the matrix, identity matrix na ganito. 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay. So nagsama lang siya. Nagsama lang yung dalawang matrix. Okay. So next one is how are we going to get the size of the matrix? Oh, so in getting the size of the matrix, okay? So use mo lang yung command size. Okay? For size, let's say size of AUG. Okay? AUG. Ayan. For the size of AUG, mapapansin nyo, 3 and 6. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng 3 and 6? Yung 3 is the value of kung ilan rows and yung 6 is kung ilang column. Okay? So AUG, ilang rows ba siya? 1, 2, and 3. And ilang ang columns? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So laging dalawa yung binibigay niya. So to save that in two different variables, so pwede mong gawin ganito. N, save natin sa N and M. Okay, whereas size of AUG. Yung sinave natin na AUG. Okay? So hit enter, we have na-save na natin yung value of N na 3 and the value of M na 6. Okay? Yung N natin is the number of rows and yung M natin is the number of columns. Okay? Next one. How are we going to extract the value of a column or a row in a matrix? So paano ba natin na-extract yung value na yan? Okay? So let's say the value matrix A natin, this one, matrix A. So the value of matrix A is 1, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, negative 3, 6, 7. Okay? So kung gusto natin kunin yung values of column in the matrix, ito. Kukunin natin yung value of column. So 1, 7, negative 3. First column. Okay? Kunin natin yung buong value of the first column. So ang ano lang natin dyan is okay, kung gusto mo kunin yung value of the first column is ito yung command A, then colon, and comma, then kung anong value yung gusto mo, kung anong row. So let's say this is M by N, so let's say this is N. Okay? So ito yung M mo. Okay? As is lang yung ating rows and yung naka-depende sa number of column na kukunin mo. So whereas extracting the row naman is A, baliktad. Okay? Naka-fix yung column mo. Okay, naka-fix yung column mo whereas ito yung as label. And ito naman yung nag-value whereas this is M. Okay? M by N. Ayan. So for example, ito yung matrix A natin and we want to extract the value of column A, okay? So, column vector 1, column vector 2, and column vector 3. So in getting that, we have A, ito, okay? X1, na-extract natin, 1, 7, negative 3. X1, ito, extract natin, 5, 4, 6. And next one, we have this one, extract natin, 6, 2, 7. Okay? Next, gusto natin i-extract yung row matrix naman. Okay? So 1, let's say, then ito naman yung column. Okay? Extracting column mo, row 1, we have this one, 1, 5, 6. Extracting row 2, we have 7, 4, 2. And extracting row 3, we have negative 3, 6, 7. Okay. So ganun lang yung pag-extract natin ng column and row vectors. Okay, next. How are we going to replace the value of a column or a row in a matrix? Okay. Let's say for example, balik tayo dito. So for example, we have the matrix A. Okay, matrix A, kanina 1, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, negative 3, 6, 7. Ngayon, create tayo ng value of B and the value of C. Or of value of matrix B and value of matrix C. Yung matrix B natin, let's say a 1 by 3, a 3 by 1 matrix or a column vector with 0 or null matrix. Okay? So all zeros. So B is equals to zeros, okay, of 3 or 1. Okay? So meron tayong column matrix na all 0. Okay, 3 by 1 matrix. Okay, let's say for example, yung Z naman natin, we have zeros, 1, 3. Okay, we have a row matrix na all zeros. So name natin siya sa Z. Okay, so for example, we want to replace column 1 by matrix B. So column 1, yung 1, 7, negative 3, ito, 1, 7, negative 3, okay, re-replace natin siya ng column B. So in replacing that column with matrix B, ang pwede mong gawin is ganito. A, so i-call out mo yung column. So ganito, na-extract mo yung column 1 na gusto mong palitan. So gusto kong palitan yung column 1, di ba? So i-call out ko siya. So pag nag-call out, di ba, is asterisk, double colon, then kung anong column yung gusto mong call out. Column 1. Okay? Ngayon, i-set ko siya as yung replacement ko. Yung replacement ko is matrix B. Okay? So, kung mapapansin mo, yan. Kung balikan natin yung value of A, okay, balikan mo yung value of A, we have 0, 0, 5, 4, 6, 6, 2, 7. Okay, so nagbago na yung value of A mo. Okay, so na-replace mo na yung column 1 dun sa gusto mong i-replace na value of B. Okay, next one, what if gusto naman natin palitan yung row? Okay, so i-define na ulit natin yung matrix A, 1, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, negative 3, 6, 7. Okay. Ngayon, gusto natin palitan yung row 1 by matrix C. Okay, row 1, this one. Okay, gusto natin palitan si row 1 ng matrix C. So kung papalitan mo siya, is ganito lang. Call out mo lang din. So call out mo siya. So row 1. Okay, is equals to yung replacement mo na row matrix. Okay, row matrix ko, let's say C. Okay, so mapapansin mo yung the matrix A ngayon is napalitan na yung row 1. Okay? So, ganun lang mag-change ng, replace ng values of a matrix. Okay? So, that's all for matrix manipulations. Okay, may questions po kayo for clarifications? Okay? None naman? Wala naman, guys? Sa apat na nandito? Okay, wala naman. Okay.
Ay, sir, yung homework po ba sa Matlab gagawin?
Hindi. Madali lang naman yun eh. Pwede namang kahit calculate, manual.
Sige po.
Madali lang naman siya. Okay. Next is ito. Differentiation. Hindi ko na siya na-discuss kanina, di ba? So kanina, na-discuss ko what is another way of solving for the derivative. Di ba? Using ginamit natin yung gantong equation, di ba? We have dx and yung df. Whereas yung df natin is dx natin kunwari is approaching to 0. So 1 times 10 raised to negative 10 yung dinefine natin kanina. And the value of the first derivative natin is f of x plus dx minus f of x all over dx. So ito yung numerical way ng pag-solve ng differentiation. Okay? So remember this one, di ba? Doon sa Newton-Raphson. So diniscuss ko siya doon. Okay? Ngayon, merong built-in function si Matlab in using the differentiation. So gagamit tayo ng symbolic math toolbox. Okay. So for Matlab offline, kapag Matlab online, hindi ka na mag-install ng Matlab Simulink. Okay. It's already included in the website. Pero kapag naka-offline ka, katulad ko naka-install sa laptop, so mag-i-install ka pa ng Matlab Simulink, this one. Madali lang naman yan, is next nyo lang. Okay? So for differentiation, okay, balik tayo dito. So for differentiation, we have to illustrate how to take derivatives using the symbolic math toolbox. Okay. We will first create a symbolic expression. So for example, sims. Okay? Yung sims kasi is the shortcut for constructing symbolic variables. To illustrate how to take derivatives using the symbolic math toolbox, okay. So first we will define sims of x and then the function natin na kina-call out. Okay? So dito kasi sa Matlab symbolic toolbox is kailangan mong mag-define ng variable mo. So yung variable mo is yung x, di ba? So gagawin mo sims of x. So dinidefine mo yung x mo as the variable. Okay? Okay, after that, clear ko lang yung aking reset. Okay, ulit. So sims x. So ito na yung ating variable x. Okay, then call out natin yung function. So name ko siya as the value of f or the function f, di ba? So sin 5x. Okay? So meron na tayong value of f. So function f. So in getting the first derivative, ang gagawin mo lang is differentiate f with respect to x. So answer natin, di ba dyan, is derivative of sin 5x is 5 cosine 5x numerically, di ba? Okay. So, pwede natin makuha yan using the Matlab symbolic function. So, diff of the function. So, i-display niya what is the first derivative talaga. So, function yung sinulat niya. So, pwede, kunwari, actually, tapos na kayo ng di ba? Tapos na kayo ng DC. Okay, tapos na kayo ng DC. So, sayang, kung sana kayo, pwede nyo i-check yung answers nyo. Okay? So, kunwari, nahirapan kayo mag-find ng derivative ng function, you can use Matlab using the symbolic toolbox, symbolic math toolbox. Okay? So, we all know the sign of 5x is 5 cosine 5x. Yan. Next one is, another example is, for example, g is equals to e raised to x cosine x. Okay? So, kunwari yung function ng g natin is e raised to x cosine x. Ayan. Diba? This is two functions. So magpa-product rule tayo dyan kapag we want to get the first derivative of g. Okay? So getting the first derivative is we have e raised to x. Okay? The first derivative of the first, copy the second. Okay? Plus derivative, copy the first derivative of the second, which is sine x negative. Okay? Which is negative e raised to x sin x. So let's see kung parehas yung solution na ibibigay ni Matlab. So define muna natin siyang function. So g is equals to exp is to x quantity multiplied by cosine of x. Okay? So we want to find the derivative of first derivative of g. So y sa sinet niya as y is equals to first derivative of g. So y equals diff of g. Okay? So same, e raised to x cosine x minus e raised to x sine x. Okay? So to find the derivative is ganun lang, diff of the function. Okay? Find the derivative for a given value of x, substitute the value of x using the subs, and return to the numerical value using VPA. So for example, di ba, we want to find the derivative of the function at a point. Okay? For example, find the derivative of g at x equals 2. So pwede natin gawin dito is, di ba, we have the function g prime. Then isa-substitute natin yung value of 2 dyan. So para mangyayari is g prime of 2. Okay? Then substitute natin yung x equals to 2, e raised to 2, cosine 2, minus e raised to 2, cosine 2. Okay? So, ganun yung gagawin ni Matlab. Okay? Using the VPA subs. So, VPA subs. And what is the value? Saan yung function na pagsasubstitutan? So, y. Dinefine ko yung different first derivative as y. Okay? Ano yung independent variable, which is x. And ano yung isa-substitute kong value, which is 2. Okay? So, mapapansin mo, the first derivative at x equals to 2 is negative 9.73. Okay? So, ganun mag-substitute or mag-find ng values of pwede nyo itong gamitin using your Newton-Raphson implementation in Matlab. Okay? Okay, next one is how are we going to take the second derivative of a function g? Okay, let's say, di ba, ito yung function natin, yung g. Okay, e raised to x cosine x. Ngayon, we want to find the second derivative. Okay, in getting the second derivative is using this one, diff g2. So, kung ilang kung ilang beses mo siya i-derivative. So g and 2. Okay, so dalawang beses we have negative 2 e raised to x sine x. Okay? Pwede rin kung third derivative gusto mo, we have this one. Okay? And the fourth derivative. Okay. So, kung kahit ilan yung ilalagay mo dito. So, fourth derivative, fifth derivative. Okay? So, kung wala kang nilagay dito, ibig sabihin, na-treat siya as the first derivative. Pero kung may nilagay kang value, second derivative, third, fourth, and nth derivative. Okay, ganon. So another way is in getting the second derivative, this one, getting the second derivative is getting the derivative of the first derivative. Okay? Using derivative of the first derivative. So pwede yun, derivative of the first derivative. Okay? So derivative of the first derivative. Okay? Pwede rin to. So you get also the second derivative of negative 2ex sine x. Okay? So pwede yung dalawa na to, dalawang solution na to. Okay? So for me, mas okay itong this one. Mas okay ito. Syempre, konti lang yung ito type mo compare dito. Okay? Next is how are we going to derivative of expression with several variable. Let's say meron tayong parametric equations. Okay? So parametric equations natin, we have the value of x and the value of time. Let's say, ganun yung function. Okay? For example, we have sine of x st. Okay? Ito yung ating parametric equations or equations with two variables. Okay. So clear ko lang. Ayan. So ngayon, syempre, simula, i-define mo what is your independent variable. Okay, so sims, s, and t. Okay? Then, i-define natin yung function. Let's say f is equals to a sine of st. So we have the function and we have the independent variables. Calling out the independent variable and the function f. Okay, so we want to find the partial derivative of f with respect to t. So ang nangyari lang dito class is we want to find the partial derivative of f with respect to t. So, di ba kapag partial derivative, remember, and partial derivative is yung kung ano yung nasa ilalim, siya yung respect and all values are constant. Okay, ganun lang din dito. So, so yung sin st, which is yung t is yung differentiate, okay? Therefore, yung s is a constant, okay? So the value is s cosine st. So differentiate f with respect to t. Okay. So we have s cosine st. Okay. Next, kung gusto natin ng kabila naman, partial f with respect to partial f with respect to partial s. Okay, so pwede mo differentiate f with respect to s. Yeah. So t cosine st. Okay, so that's all for Matlab symbolic toolbox. Okay, so kung gusto nyo tingnan, meron tayong table ng na-discuss. Okay, so for the first derivative, we can use differentiate of f or diff of f of x. Pwede rin to. Or also, pwede rin itong partial of derivative of f with respect to a, so differentiate of f comma a. Okay, for the second derivative or this one, differentiate of f with respect to b, with respect to b, second, okay, kung ilang beses mo siya i-differentiate, and the Jacobian differentiation. Okay, that's all for today. This one, pwede nyo gamitin yung first derivative na to, numerical integration for the first derivative, or also pwede rin yung symbolic math toolbox. Okay? Do you have questions, guys? Yung 4 at 3, Elena, Albao, and Baron?
None po.
None po.
Sige. Okay, that's all for today. Close ko lang tong recording natin.